Following my expose on a far-left Montreal City Council candidate, the man says he was arrested and charged over alleged online death threats, only for the case to be dropped.
It's going to be a special party for me because I was arrested and now I got to pay my lawyers. So it's going to be, I think, so the poster that we're going to use, it's a fundraiser for your boy to keep him out of jail.
Lavoie for Rebel News, and during last year's Montreal municipal election campaign, I exposed Sergio Da Silva, a city council candidate for Transition Montréal, owner of a bar known to be a far-left hub and contributor of Cult Montreal that received thousands of taxpayers' money every year. Da Silva had published disturbing statements online, including "Murder your local transphobe," and "If any politician talks about anything other than ways to fix the cost of living, simply murder them." Da Silva, who says he was subject to a gag order until July 2nd, recently appeared on a podcast where he portrayed himself as the victim of a smear campaign by Rebel News.
So about a week before the election, I received a call from the SPVM telling me to turn myself in. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. Can I swear on this?
You can swear.
Okay. I was like, that's fucking crazy. Why? Okay. Yeah. And they were like, you have 45 minutes. It's noon now. You have 45 minutes to come to the station, figure out your lawyer, and then come speak to us. And basically I went in and they're like, you are under arrest for uttering death threats on the internet. And I said nothing because my lawyer told me to shut the fuck up. And I did that. And then I received a paper saying that I had a gag order up until today, actually, July 2nd, where I was not allowed to speak about any of this under the penalty of breaking my bail. I've been out on bail since the end of October. I would imagine it was one of the things from what TVA had picked up from Rebel News as like, there's just like a long list of tweets that they just took, like not even out of context. It's sort of like hyperbolic things. When somebody is just not in a position of power and is frustrated, you use hyperbole as this literary tool to get a message across. And none of these supposed journalists were able to understand that that's what was going on. So Rebel News makes this thing, there's a whole list of stuff, and then TVA picks it up, and then I become like a terrorist, apparently.
So according to Da Silva, journalists simply failed to understand his comments. He claims that his explicit references to murder were merely hyperbolic language. But calling for people to be murdered should not be casually dismissed as harmless political speech. Context matters, but calling something hyperbole does not automatically erase the meaning of the words or the possibility that someone else could interpret them as genuine call to violence. What is even more concerning is Da Silva's claim that the case was eventually dropped. This is just insane. Imagine for 1 second that a right-wing activist had published the same exact statements. Do you honestly believe the case would have been handled the same way?
I wouldn't put it all on this, but when, fucking little Chuck got shot in the neck, it changed kind of what I felt was sort of the pH in the room, right? Like everybody.
When for those who have not been paying attention, when Charlie Kirk, the right wing activist Charlie Kirk was killed. Yeah, I remember a very everyone checked themselves that day, and you see it maybe as a bit of a turning point in North America,
specifically in an online discourse. Like the people were. That's when the things that I was putting down became hyper focused on the things that I said, even to the point where like on my throat it says Bella Ciao, and then on the bullet apparently that hit him, said Bella Ciao, and then they were like, oh, you're this Antifa super soldier, like you want to kill your political opponents.
You were at the training camp, the Antifa training camp in Portland, Oregon,
just going through like tires and.
At the time when far left political violence is escalating, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated over his political opinions, statements calling for the people to be murdered cannot simply be brushed aside as a jokes or exaggeration. But in Da Silva's version of event, he is the victim. He is now raising money to cover more than $6,000 in legal costs. At the time of recording, his GoFundMe had collected approximately $9,000 in only 2 days. I contacted both the SPVM and the Quebec's Director of Criminal and Penal Prosecutions to determine what happened and why the case was allegedly dropped. The SPVM referred my questions to the DPCP, which is responsible for deciding whether criminal charges should be authorized and continued. The DPCP told me that no public information was available regarding Sergio Da Silva's case. When I asked how the public was supposed to understand the decision, especially in a case involving alleged threats against politicians and other members of the public, the DPCP sent me its guidelines. They state, generally, the reasons for a decision not to lay charges must not be made public, unless the DPCP exceptionally considers that disclosure is in the public interest in order to preserve public confidence. But how is a decision involving alleged online death threats not in the public interest? How does withholding that information help preserve confidence in our institutions? This is especially troubling when other politically charged cases have also ended without prosecution. Last year, Gabriel Lepage, the alleged church smoke bomber, seems to have his charges abandoned. Two masked individuals who were following us for almost an hour with surgical gloves saw their cases abandoned. And once again, the public is given no meaningful explanation. What recourse do Canadians have when serious cases are dropped behind closed doors? How are we supposed to trust a justice system that refuses to explain decisions involving alleged political intimidation and violence? The message this sends is deeply disturbing. Attack a church, publish alleged death threats, terrorize journalists or political opponents, and the public may never learn why nobody was prosecuted. This is just unacceptable. Canadians deserve transparency, especially when prosecutors decide not to proceed with cases involving alleged threats, political violence, and attacks on democratic participation. These cases should not be quietly swept under the rug as though nothing happened. It was Alexa for Rebel News. At Rebel News, we believe that Antifa should be designed as terrorist organization as they did in the US. If you agree, go and sign the petition at stopantifa.com right now.